The following programme may contain adult themes, strong language, and some nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
The Josh Widdicombe XFM podcast.
Live from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Hello. Yes. Let's not go too fucking mental too early. Are we all right? Good. This is very exciting. I'm going to start with sad news. This is genuinely the final ever XFM podcast. 6 people are gutted. I used to do an XFM show for 2.5 years, and so who here has heard the XFM podcast? Not enough of you. Who here is excited about finding out about it too late? Yeah, you can go back through the old editions. What this is I did an XFM show for 2.5 years, and for last Edinburgh, we thought it'd be quite fun to come and do it live with the regulars. There are other people involved, just to be clear. This isn't just me getting fucking shit-faced. So what this is we've got all the regular guests that we have on the show. So what this is going to be is you've all filled in your forms. That's the equivalent of the text we used to get into the show. We'll come to you. We'll talk to you about that. Also, each comedian has their own feature that we go to and discuss. It's a very fun late-night show. Are we all excited about that? I said, are we all excited about that? Yes, we fucking are. It's Tuesday night. Let's do this. So, just to be clear, this is the final ever episode. So, there will be tears. But hopefully, tears of laughter. That's the kind of levels we're working on. If you're not involved in that, then you're going to have a long old 6 hours of entertainment. Do you want to meet all of the guests for tonight? Yes, we're getting into it now. We're fucking doing it. Cooking on gas. Let's do it. So, from left to right, please welcome Nish Kumar, Matthew Crosby, Nathaniel Metcalfe. Matthew Crosby's not made it up. Suzi Ruffell, Ed Gamble, Joe Lycett, Ivo Graham, James Acaster, and John Robbins. I'm not going to lie to you. I said tonight is the final night. If you've been a guest on it before, you can be a guest on it again. I didn't expect everyone to say yes. But here we fucking are. Look at this.
How am I sat here?
How have you got your bag on still?
It's got my session ales in it. I've wrapped them in a towel to maintain fridge temperature.
What have you got? What session ales have you got?
There's a question of the ages.
I know your favourite one, Joe.
Bombardier.
Bombardier.
Oh, come on, mate. Bombardier's for losers. I've got
Says
two
the man
God,
unrolling his drinks in a towel.
Robbins.
I mean, we did all think
Cavalier.
the towel was a joke, but it turns out.
Feel how cold that is? That left my fridge at 6 p.m.
Did you smash a bird with it?
Well,
Not in the sexy way.
Right. Just so you know, that hasn't set the tone. We've also got we've still got 2 people waiting outside.
We still haven't addressed why I'm sitting here. I ain't got a table, mate.
Please
It's like I've turned up to a family dinner and no one expected me. The weird uncle that never turns up.
And never
Please
takes his
wel-
bag off.
Right,
It looks like you're on the
come on,
fence
shut up!
Oh, he did it. 2.5 years and finally you snap. I'm part of it too.
Please welcome, and show him some respect, please. He's never shown his face before in public. It's producer Neil! And now, to end the show as a special treat, we have the 2000 Tom Neenan, who is a brilliant comedian, but he's also the 2007 Young Cartoonist of the Year runner-up. So we thought, what better way than get him to draw the show? Please welcome Tom Neenan! Okay, so welcome. Have you all filled in your forms? That is worrying. We should start by asking the panel if you have filled in your forms in response to any of the 2 questions, which were lies that have left you out of your depth and what are your unique family traditions. Nish Kumar.
I told a lie that left me out of my depth, and it involved one of the other panellists, Mr. Edward Gamble.
It was the finest moment of my entire life.
I
feel like I should introduce the man I was working with because it was very important to the
Could I
lie.
just stop? Neil's got out a bottle of Prosecco.
Right.
Lads!
Neil.
After 2.5 years, he has changed.
I love it, Neil.
Carry on, Nish, carry on.
Don't most people do the after party literally after the show? Isn't that when it's supposed to happen?
I also like the fact that now that there's 11 of us on stage, it looks like the shittest football team of all time.
It looks like the Last Supper.
With Judas drawing it.
For some reason, Jesus is on the end. Yeah, that's right. Jesus was a brown guy. Deal with it, motherfuckers.
Oh, for listeners, be aware that to get any of Nish's jokes, he is Asian.
That's the announcement that plays before my show.
Even though, weirdly, he sounds like the whitest guy here.
Nish, tell your story.
So Ed, do you want to set up who you were working with at the time?
Yeah, I was doing a podcast with an actor called Raji James, who played Ash.
Is that Nish's nemesis?
Yeah, very much so. We're
It's
about
my
to
alter
see
ego.
How they clashed. He was in EastEnders, and he played a character called Ash Ferreira, who were the first Asian family on EastEnders. And
No, they weren't. What about Sanjay and Geeta?
Not a family, mate. They didn't have any kids.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, look, I know, Shamila, but let's move on. But I believe it wasn't Sanjay's kid because he did have problems with his sperm count later on.
Holy shit!
That is a
you bit
fact.
off
Wiki
more than
it.
you could do.
We had a running joke about him. He was very much the bullied one on the podcast, and he used to talk about how he used to work with Leslie Grantham, and Leslie Grantham hated him. So we were once on a train, me and Nish. And Nish, do you want to take over?
Yeah, well, the thing is that what Raji said was the first day he turned up, he went up to Leslie Grantham, who played Dirty Den, and said, "Hi, Leslie, I'm one of the Ferreiras." And Leslie Grantham apparently said, "Yeah, of course you are." So we were on a train, and we'd had a little bit of beer, as lads will often do, and we were absolutely sozzled, right? And we were on the train, and we saw Leslie Grantham. And
Leslie Grantham, not Grantham.
Yeah, I mean, how much whiter do you want to sound?
Mr.
Leslie Grantham, excuse me very much.
I refuse to apologise for my education.
Don't nick my catchphrases, mate.
So when we saw Leslie Grantham on the train, one of us decided it would be funny if I went over and pretended that I was in the Ferreiras. And then that happened. As I was getting off the train, I was waiting for... We were pulling into the station, and as I was getting off the train, he was just stood by the door, and I just turned around to him and went, "Leslie, hi, how are you?" And he went, Who are you?" And I went, "I was one of the Ferreiras." And immediately I was like, I am so far out of my depth. Like, I've not been this far out of my depth since the first time I got in a swimming pool and realised I couldn't fucking swim. Like, it was really terrifying. And I was like, he's going to hit me. I don't know what's going to... And then he just went, "Course you are, mate. How have you been?" And he was like, "What have you been up to?" And I just... luckily, the train doors opens, and I just went, "All sorts, Leslie, all sorts," and then just ran for my life.
It would have been funny if he'd said to you, "Guys, with these Ferreiras, you're really spoiling us." in a way. In a mad way. No, it wouldn't. It would have been bad.
Anyone else on lies that have left you out of your depth, or what are your unique family traditions? Otherwise, seeing it as the final episode, I think we should go to Nathaniel Metcalfe for my favourite story that's ever been on the show. Your first day at university.
Oh, on my first day of university, I was doing a fine art degree. But I left it quite soon afterwards because I realised I didn't like people that did art. And the first day was in we had like a workshop, safety workshop, to show us how to use all the tools and all the things. And when I stood there and he was talking to us, I fainted. But only for a second or two. And when I was on the floor, I thought, this is going to look bad. This is the kind of thing that's going to follow me throughout the whole of university. So I leapt up to my feet immediately, as if nothing was wrong, and the guy running the workshop said, "Are you all right, mate?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." But I wasn't fine, because I'd gone completely blind. And lots of actors and things pretend to be blind, like Ant McPartlin. But there's not many blind people who pretend that they can see.
Was there a point when you were thinking, should I try and use my sense of smell to help me out?
There's very few things a blind man can produce during an art degree as well, apart from a clay head of Lionel Richie. Which would be the main one. And about 10 minutes later, my sight gradually returned to me, and the guy asked again. He said, "So just ask again, are you sure you're all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine actually now, but I did actually go blind there for a bit." And the man said, "Well, I could tell there was something wrong, because when you said you were fine the first time, my eyes were rolled back in my head."
In my first year at the Edinburgh Festival, an audience member thought that I was blind because I had even worse stagecraft than I do now, and it was in the Tron where the lights were very bright, and I would sort of hide my nerves by staring sort of way over the heads of the audience and probably sort of narrowing, but not closing my eyes. And I was having a chat to a fan after the gig, and
so your mum was in?
And she, my mother knows my defects. And this woman said, it was a good, you were quite new to it, and it was a good show. What's it like being a blind comedian?
Oh, did you correct them?
Oh yeah, I told a very moving story about routes to mic stands, the long drives to gigs.
So that does qualify with lies that got you out of your depth.
Yes, I suppose so. And we're into the topics.
Suzi, you're in charge of the cards tonight. Have you got? Should we have any of the audience's ones?
Yeah. Rachel Lum.
Rachel
Where
Lum.
are you, Rachel? Hello, Rachel.
Here's Rachel. Can we,
this is Unique Family Traditions.
Could I just, to preface Unique Family Traditions, the reason we've chosen it as one of our favourite topics ever is, Nish, you were on the show when this came up, weren't you?
Yeah, this is Kemsley Gate, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you like to go through a unique family tradition we got sent in was someone every Christmas their girlfriend's family played a game called
Whose pants are these?
Whose pants are these?
Everyone had to come
this is one of the top 2 texts ever. The number 2 was on the question of have you ever fainted? A man who'd fainted after he'd inhaled helium from a balloon at a launch of a new Shoe Express. But number 1 was the game, Whose Pants Are These? This guy went to his girlfriend's families for Christmas, and at the door, they'd all have to hand in a pair of their own pants.
A spare pair that they'd all brought along.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, she didn't think to mention this on the way over.
And then they'd all take a pad of paper and a pen, and the youngest member of the family would parade in front of everyone, in turn, in the different pairs of pants, and you'd be forced to write down whose pants you thought they were. And the winner was the one that got the most pants right.
And we are playing that tonight. Ivo, get kitted up.
those pants are going to wear themselves.
Nish. Who's Suzi?
So Rachel's unique family tradition is the gammon dance.
Oh, good God.
Rachel, hello.
Hello.
From the people that bought you, whose pants
I'll
are
let
these?
Rachel explain it.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
It's a dance you have to do when you get the first piece of gammon when it's being carved. My sister came up
That
with
is
it.
literally the most northern thing I've ever heard.
I know this is an audio podcast, but could you give us a very quick demo of kind of what
So if you get the first piece of gammon that's been carved, you do what? Can we have the lights up?
Just for the listeners,
Rachel, sorry. If you're...
That's it.
To describe it, I would say it's like wanking off two giants.
I really wish I hadn't done it now. I mean, I did it really eagerly as well.
So how did this come about, Rachel?
My sister did it once, and it just stuck.
Funny how things
Oh,
catch
God.
on.
Is that because the first piece of gammon is the best, so it's like a celebratory
Yeah,
dance?
something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So
Just a genuine inquiry as to the quality of meat you get at Christmas.
So who decides who gets the first bit of gammon?
You just have to steal it.
What is your life like? You're stealing meat and dancing.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't do it with any other meat?
No, gammon.
No, they're not fucking weirdos.
All right.
That'd be weird.
Insane.
Can I? And you live in the Victorian era, is that right?
It's just so feral. Like, I'm now imagining a live pig, and you're just running towards it, just tearing a leg off with your teeth, then dancing around your face covered in blood.
But doesn't this imply that everyone in your family wants to do the gammon dance? Because if I was in your family, which would be weird, but if I was in your family, I'd go
Nish is Asian, ladies and
Nish is
gentlemen.
brown, guys.
Nish is
Prior
brown.
information.
Nish is not white.
But
Surname Kumar.
I would just think, I'll tell you what, I'll hang back and maybe get the second piece of gammon.
We use gammon as a celebration in the family. So
Use gammon as a celebration in the family.
if it's someone's birthday or something special.
You what, sorry?
If it's someone's birthday or something special, Mum cooks gammon tea.
So instead of like a wedding cake.
Well, I think we all know what the first dance is going to be.
There wasn't a song. It was just a dance.
It's
There's no
just a dance,
song.
yeah.
Ivo and I would like to know, what's it like to be poor?
I just say that wasn't put past me, that question.
But he is still wondering.
Ivo's got no interest in knowing.
No, I'll watch the documentaries in my own time.
When you were growing up, you just threw a joint of gammon into a comprehensive school, didn't you? And watched everyone fight over it. And you and your friends from the Valence, it's like, look at them squabble.
For listeners, James's parents are in and he's trying to impress them by bullying his fellow contestants. And that's fine. Joe teed up that question, not me. I've got no problem with the dance. It sounds like a load of fun. I'd love to come round.
Right, now each member of the panel has a feature that they did on the show at some point. The first feature we like to do each night is from Mr. Matthew Crosby. A round of applause for Matthew Crosby.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, fans of the show from about a year and a bit ago will remember that I used to read from celebrity autobiographies on Josh's show because I do like. In fact, I was buying a bunch of them at a charity shop the other day, and in fact, this was in preparation for this, and the woman who sold them to me looked at the big stack of books, went, "Oh, you like reading about people?" So that's an indication of what I'm into. I like reading about people. And so far we've had the Crankies, Fan Debbie Dozy. We've had they're in. We've had the Full Monty by Jim Davison, which was bleak. And
what was the anecdote you read from that summed up in a
anecdote
sentence?
was when he had a night out with a man called Nish, and accidentally got a blowjob from a man.
And what was his motto that he came up with after that?
Oh God, it's I'll
always hang out with Nish.
It's well worth reading.
I vowed that if I was going to go. The next morning, I woke up with a hell of a hangover and vowed that if I was going to go with anything out there, this was at Berlin, if I was going to go with anything out there, I'd have to fuck it to be sure it was female. Now, yes, and thanks, John, for teeing that up. Exactly as I asked, yeah, please let me read that thing that died the first time round. Let's hear it again. Yesterday we compared Sting's book with Charlotte Crosby from the Geordie Shore, two famous Geordies. But today I'm going to compare and contrast Little and Large's autobiographies. So we've got. In fact, this is a great game. Do you want to guess the titles? Josh, you're usually quite good at this. So Sid Little, what did he call his book?
And Large. A little bit of history.
No, but you're kind of close. It's actually Little Goes a Long Way.
Oh.
Little Goes a Long Way.
I'm quite pleased with that.
And I've got a signed copy to Steve. Be happy. I'm not Steve.
So Steve has got. Is that a genuine signed copy?
It's a genuine signed copy
that Steve has put into a charity shop.
Well, I bought this one from Amazon Marketplace. But yes, this was the year 2000, the 3rd of the 11th, so the 3rd of November. Never forget. And
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And then it was once you've, I mean, it's not great. The Eddie Large one is not signed.
Life at Large.
It's At Large, yeah,
At
that's
Large.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
please.
no, sorry, I tell her like Larger Than Life. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
At Large is the history of his escape from jail. Sorry, I fucked that up.
I was going to...
Really fucked that. That was...
If you need to work out the punchline of that, Nish is Asian.
That sounds more racist than you'd intended it. They come over here, they don't even learn the language.
Matthew, can I just could you hold up the two autobiographies and just show us comparatively the sizes of each one?
Well, that's unfair because this is a hardback, so but it was only available in hardback, and it's only available in large print edition, and then little just a little version. And
if you get an unsigned one, does it cost more?
That's a very special edition, yeah. And they found the picture of Sid Little where he just looks so sad. It's like the least cross-eyed version they could find of poor Sid Little. It's a very sad book. But I'm going to read you two anecdotes from Little and Large's books about Sid Little's brother Dave. We're going to start with Eddie Large's book. It was a laugh a minute, travelling the country with Sid and his brother Dave, who became our road manager, in spite of his lack of somewhat basic qualifications. He couldn't drive. It turns out, actually, if you read both books, he could drive, just didn't enjoy it. But he still was there. I think I might be the only person in the world who's cross-referenced these two books to get to the real story, guys. None of this whitewash, all right?
Normally people do that with the books of the Bible.
Yeah. Well, the stories of JFK. No, he could drive. Back and to the left.
He was blind. Perhaps. No, never mind.
But Dave was a great, good-natured guy who was excellent at helping with the gear.
Oh my God!
No, that's not. They mean like moving the PA system and stuff like that. And I like driving myself, so it was no problem. My memories of those amazing days are mainly of laughter, both on and off stage. I used to say we were the luckiest guys alive. Yeah, they used to say that. Who else has a job where you get paid to spend the day laughing? Dave remains one of my greatest friends to this day. He's a terrific bloke for a comedian to have by his side because he has a wonderful way of grabbing hold of the wrong end of the stick and clinging on with both hands. And he never minds laughing at himself, so long as it's done in the spirit of friendship. Basically what Eddie's saying is, I used to bully Dave. Dave has brightened up many long trips across Britain with his knack for choosing the slightly wrong word. After a while, we developed our own private language. Being hungry, as usual, I said to Dave on one trip as a joke, Shall we... This is a great joke. Shall we stop and have something to eat at the Little Chief? See, instead of chef, he said chief.
No, he might have... I hope it's just a typo.
Dave took everything I said as gospel, and we always called them Little Chiefs after that. It made them sound so much more interesting than Little Chefs. Dave really enjoyed...
Imagine if that had made your autobiography.
You wait till we get to Sid's book.
I mean, the guy's surname, who he's making fun of, his surname is Little. Why is he not putting that together? Why is he just going, oh, Little Chief? But I can't see anything else I can do with that.
Those are stage names, James.
Still pretty funny.
OK. If you'd read both books, you'd know. There was a very, very long night when they had to change their name because they used to be Eddie and Sid, and it didn't sound like it was standing out enough. It's a great anecdote. Anyway, I literally haven't got time for it, but I am doing an audiobook of both books that will be available as a podcast.
Interesting, though, their real surnames is Small and Fat.
But the other way round.
Fats and Small.
Dave really enjoyed...
I'm a fan. I was a big fan of Fats and Small. Yeah, fair enough.
I wish I'd heard of any of these people.
We get it, Ivo. You're young.
No, sorry.
Have you heard of Vanessa Feltz? So she is a different person.
That's actually how both books start. Have you heard of Vanessa Feltz? This is not her story.
Every autobiography should start with that line.
Including Vanessa Feltz's. Dave really enjoyed any new use of language. An old actor called Bertie Hare once came to see us in a panto at Bristol. He met up... I know
There's no way Bertie Hare is his real... Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
He was in a double act with Dave Tortoise.
Dave Tortoise?
One always arrived first.
That was the name?
Dave will be fine. Dave will be fine.
Dave Tortoise.
So Bertie Hare once came to see us in panto. He met up with Dave and in his very distinguished upper crust voice said, I see you're still a bit of a room at the front, Dave. You what? Asked Dave, completely baffled. Rhymes with room at the front, begins with C. I prompted him and the penny dropped. That's brilliant, said Dave. After having it's so sad. Who loves a bit of rhyming slang. I'm having that. Sometime later, one of Dave's mates came in and he did his infamous chuckle and said, you're a bit of a front room, aren't you? So that went straight into our language. Anyone we don't like, he's a bit of a front room.
Can I just say the highlight of that was when Ed had to explain to Suzi what the rhyming slang was.
If anyone saw me
at the front,
I had to mouth cunt to Suzi, and it didn't look good if anyone's just walked in there. The only woman up here, and I'm going, cunt.
It's great to be here, guys. Great to be here. Representing women.
The very last bit of this anecdote goes, when I was in Nottingham, I was on... This is incredible, this sentence. When I was in Nottingham, I was on low-calorie lager for my health. All of a sudden, the call rang out. Eddie Large on stage. I necked back my drink and ran on. A bit later that night, Dave came up and warned me gravely. Hey, you shouldn't be drinking that stuff as fast as that, Eddie, said Dave with real concern in his voice. You'll be going on stage abbreviated. So naturally now, in our language, abbreviated means drunk. So Dave is a lot of fun, and Eddie had a lot of fun with him. What does his own brother have to say? What's the best anecdote about his own brother that he's got here in this book? So this is from Sid's book.
Sid Little, who was recently on Celebrity Master Chief.
Very good.
That is already better than this story. On another occasion, we were in pantomime in Wolverhampton. In those days, we weren't actually topping the bill, so Eddie and I shared a dressing room. We went in and I said, right, this is my space. And Eddie said, and this is mine. Turning to Dave, he asked, where are we going to put the TV then? We'll put it there, replied Dave. Oops, I've just lost the page. It's all right. You can edit this bit out, can't you?
not of
Do
the
you not
people...
live, not to these guys.
Not to the people that have paid for their tickets.
Yeah, I'm all about the podcast listeners. Hello, fans. So turning to Dave, he asked, where are we going to put the TV? We'll put it there, replied Dave. But I said, no, that's where I need to put my makeup and gear. Again with the gear. Well, we'll put it here, suggested Dave. But Eddie said, no, you can't. My stuff's going there. Eventually, Dave said, I know what. I'll build a shelf. So he built the shelf in the corner, and it was brilliant. That was back in 1974, and I think it was there until a few years ago. All the stagehands came in to see the shelf and how solid it was. Dave even sat on it to demonstrate its strength. I mean, the book's only about 150 pages long. That's one of the best stories from his life.
Matthew Crosby's,
thanks
ladies and
very
gentlemen. Suzi, what have our audience got for us?
I like this one. I want to make sure that I say your name right. Sohal?
So,
Oh, yes, I know you're in.
What was that?
Listeners, you didn't hear him or her go, oh, shit. Where are you? Hello? How are you?
What's your name, sorry?
So, am I saying it right? Sohal?
Sahel.
Can you please tell your lie, because I think it's very good.
Read it out, Suzi, in the morning.
Okay.
I can't remember what it is.
You lied that you were Tamwa off EastEnders.
Oh, yeah. No, I did. But I generally don't, because ever since I moved to London, it happens about once or twice, probably 3 times a week, where someone stops me on the tube or...
Once, twice, 3 times a Tamwa.
Have you ever met Leslie Grantham? Because I've got a brilliant wind-up.
So who's Tamwa from EastEnders? Is he...
He doesn't look like me.
Does he look like Nish?
3 people a week come up to you and accuse you of being Tamwa.
Sort of, like once.
I don't think they accuse him, do they?
Yeah, no,
That sounds a bit too aggressive. You're Tamwa, aren't you, you fucking idiot?
Is Tamwa the character who did stand-up comedy for a bit?
Yes, exactly, and it's probably on the panel somewhere. But,
Brilliant work.
He got away with it. He just got away with it.
Yeah. That's an example of someone who's allowed to do that.
Noted.
Well played, fake Nish.
Or fish.
Suzi.
Another one.
Yep.
Okay. Daniel Scott. Hello?
Scotty too hotty?
Daniel Scott?
Daniel Scott.
I think Daniel Scott might have been a walkout.
Daniel
That's embarrassing.
Scott.
Let's read it out anyway.
Trying to help.
He lied that he was a member of Daft Punk, which is a good lie.
That's a good lie.
Get away with
It's
it.
quite a good lie.
Bit of tinfoil.
The motorcycle helmet on, something like that.
Is he here, Daniel Scott?
No, fuck him.
No.
He's the guy with the robotic face over there, actually, yeah.
Ashley, who's not given us a surname.
But they'll get it from the lie.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's mysterious, which is good for the lie.
Oh, yeah.
Because they told a friend that they worked for MI5, which was located near their house, when they were 12.
Where's Ashley?
No
Ashley.
surname, very good.
Ashley, you've blown your cover immediately, for fuck. That was actually an MI5 test.
Oh, yes.
So Ashley, you lived near MI5 when you were 12. God, that's a very expensive place to live. That's Waterloo, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know Ivo?
So what? Take us through it, Ashley.
There was a house down the road from us that no one really knew what went on inside. There was a really long drive.
There are a lot of houses. That's the case, isn't it?
There was always like police
Who
cars.
are you, Space, and their song Neighbourhood? I mean, unless that's too niche.
Not Nish.
Did you live in Cheltenham?
No.
Okay.
I live in Yorkshire.
The Cheltenham of the North.
Not the gammon dance, Yorkshire. But yeah, there was always police cars and security there, so I just told a friend I worked there for MI5, and I kept it up for like 4 years, and he believed me.
No, he fucking didn't.
No, he didn't.
Did you have to make up more lies? Surely you had to tell him
all
stuff.
the time. I just go out of rooms, I've got phone calls to make, and... Oh yeah, I really went full power.
Please tell me.
Why the fuck would MI5 have a load of police cars outside of it?
Also, that reflects worse on you than it does on your friend for believing it, I think.
Can I just check that your friend was also 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
So how did it all end?
I never told him. He might still think it, I hope
And he's
not.
here tonight. No.
When I was 12, I had a joke that I was in that I was a spy. I'd go, I was really pleased with this joke. I'd go, I'm a spy. I work for MFI.
That's actually still in Joe's show this year, so if you can catch it,
It's
that's
a great
the way
joke. It's a
Joe
great
Lycett.
joke because MFI is a hardware
Yeah.
shop, you see.
Oh.
But it sounds similar to MI5.
And it
so in
rhymes.
the moment you go, oh, I see.
Any more audience
There was a
interaction?
terrible
Susie?
moment
One
when
more?
Little and Large went to MI5 to get some stuff for their shelf building. Dave! Get the crew in.
Okay. Erin Whelan, who first time round managed to spell her surname wrong.
Absolutely
When
textbook
has the
wheels.
lie left you out of your depth?
But
Wheels
Erin
down
Whelan?
over here.
no, don't feel bad. I've done that as well. My surname's Ruffell, and I spelt that wrong recently when I was registering at a new GP's. Nothing wrong, just in case.
Yeah, but yeah, of course.
And I took up the page and said, "I'm really sorry, I accidentally spelt my name wrong." And the lady said, "Do you have someone with you to help?" And I said, "No, I'm just an idiot." Dancing to the theme tunes on TV shows.
What is this unique family
wow.
traditions or
Yeah.
lies that have left you out of your depth?
No, this is unique family tradition.
It's not Have You Met the Ting Tings, is it? I fucking hope it is.
No, dancing to theme tunes of TV shows, and then in brackets, Only Child. Which suggests it's not a family tradition, it's just a youth tradition.
So, Erin, was it Erin?
Erin, yeah.
Erin, so what's the story behind this?
Well, just some of the theme tunes are really catchy. You can just dance and you see.
What's your
You're going to
favourite?
have to give us examples, because if it's Euro trash, I'm really worried. What?
Also, was there any gammon involved?
No, they're really cringy. So like Hawaii 5-0.
Your mic technique is awful.
Like Hawaii 5-0 because it's.
Hawaii 5-0.
That's a good one.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's a good
up-tempo one. Yeah.
So, sorry, why is this a family tradition? You'd all do it together?
Yeah, but there's just 3 of us because I'm an only child.
Yeah,
That's
no.
a bit tragic.
That is still a family.
Definitely a family.
Still counts as a family.
I know you get bullied at school for stuff like that, but it's definitely a family, all right?
Yeah.
Definitely,
We say
definitely
it's a family, but Erin hasn't learned how to spell her surname.
Okay, yeah.
Me and my dad used to dance to the Clothes Show theme tune. We used to like march up and down the living room, and literally, as you've said that, I've remembered that, and I've looked back on it, and it was actually really homophobic. I'm just.
So what's the Clothes Search theme tune?
Well, whatever it was, I would do a full dance to it.
Oh.
Well, there's only one.
Good luck finding it, whoever's teching this show.
There's only one way to find out what the dance was.
Up you get, Gamble.
It's just a cat. It was like, I mean, there's literally no point in me doing it because it will kill the mood of the show. It will be me mincing up and down, and everyone will go, steady on, mate.
Oh, the dance was homophobic, not the theme tune. I thought the theme tune was homophobic to the show.
I mean, I don't think. How could a tune? I mean, sing me a homophobic tune right now.
Don't do it!
For the benefit of the listeners at home, I am not a homosexual.
Now we should go back to the features, and for 6 months each week, TV historian and comedian Nathaniel Metcalfe would bring us what was on the TV this week. And what have you got for us this week, Nathaniel?
Well, I thought since it's the last ever Josh Widdicombe XFM show, I would run down some of the best or oddest endings for TV shows.
Excellent work.
So the first one I've got is Roseanne, the American blue-collar sitcom. Very good.
Very good sitcom.
Ran for 9 series. The 9th series opens with Roseanne winning the lottery. And then the rest of it's like a fantasy sequence which ends with Roseanne as actually Dan, John Goodman, apparently dies at the end of Series 8. Roseanne goes mad and rewrites the 9th series, so she meets up with, like, Steven Seagal, joins the cast of Absolutely Fabulous.
What? Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley?
Show up in Roseanne. And in the last episode, you just find out that she's gone mad and she's just rewritten the entire sitcom, changing... What's that? Some things jump the shark. That's an entire shark pool.
So what? The last series of Roseanne.
The last series goes mad.
I've not seen this. Has anyone seen this?
I remember at the time seeing trailers for it and just going, "What on earth is happening?"
So the last series of the British Empire was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last series of the British Empire?
Yeah, we should definitely bring Tom Neenan in at
Tom
this point.
Neenan,
He's
that's his
our
favourite.
resident British Empire enthusiast.
Hi guys, big Chris Barry fan.
Could I just say that's how Tom enters every room? If Craig Charles is in there, he's fucking livid.
So I believe the penultimate series of the British Empire ends with Gordon Brittas dying, being sent to heaven, annoying God. So God brings him back to life for him to continue running the leisure centre. And then the final series ends with him waking up on a train and realising that the entirety of the British Empire has been one big dream. And he's actually on his way to open the leisure centre. And I believe the last words ever on the British Empire are, "I have a dream."
For me,
seems
that's the
original.
definitive use of that quote.
What I like is that during that anecdote, 6 people left.
I once queued up for 2 hours at the Whitgift Centre to meet Chris Barry.
Wow.
That's it!
Hey guys, big Chris Barry fan. Tom Neenan was taking up an hour and a half of his time. Any more, Nathaniel?
Perhaps the weirdest one was the ending to the US hospital drama St. Elsewhere, when it pans out on the snowy hospital to reveal that the hospital is actually a snow globe. And the entire 10-year run takes place in the mind of a boy with autism who's playing with the snow globe.
And there's a theory which you've explained to me where someone has managed to...
Because what they do a lot in American TV shows is they often have little crossover episodes. So in, for example, St. Elsewhere, one of the doctors supposedly was in Korea with BJ Honeycutt from MASH. And some of the doctors visit Cheers in one of the episodes. So there's a theory on the internet that basically all American TV takes place in the mind of a boy with autism.
Every episode of the Josh Widdicombe podcast also takes place in the mind of the boy.
Nathaniel Metcalfe, ladies and gentlemen. Suzi, let's go back to the audience. What have you got?
I must away. I'm
Must
afraid. Sorry
away.
about that.
Matthew Crosby, the
Cheers,
final
everybody.
time.
Yay!
And I do worry that will leave too few comedians on stage. Suzi, what have you got from the audience?
Oh, sorry, I've been told to move somewhere. We can cut that bit out.
Can we send a mic?
Oh, send a mic across. Sorry.
Go on.
Hi, guys. Sorry. I've really killed the mood. And I am sorry. Oh, I'm still thinking a lot about whether people think I'm racist, so I've got that going on in my head.
I love,
To be
the,
honest,
fact, I love the fact that Neil is just smashing that bottle of Prosecco on his own. He's just like...
Well, there were some glasses went round for the Prosecco, and they are still fully stacked over there.
Mate. Come on.
Sorry. Okay, let's go with Gavin Whitelaw, rather.
Here we go, Gavin.
Gavin? All right, Gavin.
Looks
Suzi
like a
trying
ledge.
to dispel rumours about her racism and then immediately reading something that says white law.
An anagram of more white.
Gavin.
Look, I'm gay, you're brown, we've all got our crosses to bear.
Gavin looks like
Would
a
you
young
please
Neil.
not invoke the cross, you two?
Sorry, Gavin.
Okay.
So what's
White
the
law.
story with Gavin?
Hit us.
Do you want to tell the story? Can you give us...
Let's hear what he's written.
So the lies that have left you out of your depth, I want to know where this happened and who you were speaking to. You pretended that your friend was a gay porn star called the Chubby Funster? Go on.
Yeah.
Best year ever.
Basically, there was this guy that... Oh, he was our friend, but one of those friends that nobody really liked.
Yeah, like Nish.
Yeah, one of the... Yeah, he was very much the Nish of the group. And I'm guessing, given your name's Whitelaw, he was also brown. Come on, Whitelaw, hit us.
So basically, I sort of made up a lie that he was a gay porn star and he did some weird videos with his dog. And that's not gay.
Oh, Gavin.
His male dog, you monster.
How's that? So what? Who to?
Oh, basically, it started out as just my friends. But
Don't bring the Hutus into this.
But they had other friends, and eventually it went all around the school, and I'd sort of forgotten about it. Then a couple
The
years...
school? How young were you?
It was like first year, so like 12.
I don't think that qualifies as a gay porn star. I think there's other issues at work there.
There was other parts apart from the dog bit. I went more in
I
depth.
don't think it's the dog that's the problem. It's the 12 that's the problem, Whitelaw.
When I was 12, I had a great joke about MFI.
God damn it, Whitelaw.
But basically, eventually, I forgot about it, and 4 years later, I was sort of talking about him because we actually became properly friends with him, and he was actually all right. So I was speaking to someone else who wasn't really in our friend group, sort of talking about it, and say, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that weird that sort of made videos with his dogs." Like, what? He never made videos with his dogs. Like, yeah, he was like this secret gay porn star called the Chubby Funster with a website called thechubbyfunster.com. And so the slide.
Sorry, they didn't realise. They didn't think to check the website.
I don't know if people genuinely did. There might be. I don't know.
You set up a website.
Even though it's one law for you and white law for everyone else.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Gavin Whitelaw.
Gavin. Gavin, you strike me as a hideous little prick.
Or a total front room, to use it.
So how did it play out?
Genuinely, it did start out as a joke, so not bullying.
You are definitely in a position to classify it as the leader of the joke.
He did laugh.
That is the bully's catchphrase. You remember that? It was a joke. It wasn't bullying.
He did find it kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, he laughed until he cried for hours.
Like, in most schools, like, Chubby Funster would be mean enough as it is, just like as a mean nickname about someone being fat. If you went home and said to your parents, people are calling me Chubby Funster, I went, that's so mean. It's just the tip of the iceberg, really. The rumours, actually, that I molest dogs of my own gender. You know, my weight gain is irrelevant.
So, Gavin, are you still friends with this guy?
Yeah, he's totally cool and everyone's forgotten about it and it's no longer believed.
I bet he's not forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I bet the domain name's still up.
I'm often on that website myself, actually. You also look a bit like Neil, I think.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You do look a bit like Neil.
Like a kind of younger, hideous prick version.
Balls deep in a dog.
Filming it.
Right. You know how friends sort of just like, take the piss out of each other and you'll sort of laugh and try and get one up? And obviously I went too far.
What was the previous one?
Sorry, I just didn't think when I left the house I'd be hearing the phrase balls deep in a dog. I just didn't.
Yes, you did.
You're at the Fringe, mate.
It's the world's greatest arts festival.
It was sort of just like a stupid thing, like, oh, you're a porn star called the Chubby Funster. And then it sort of just expanded, and yeah. But then people genuinely believed it years later, and I sort of had to say, no, he doesn't do that anymore.
He doesn't do that! That's what you had to say, Whitelaw!
Fucking astonishing.
It's like behind him! That's not next. What do you mean he doesn't do that anymore?
Not I'm a liar.
It's all past now. It's all fine enough now that I can write it down on a piece of paper.
Well,
and
you
not
say
feel
that,
like
Kevin, but I've never really recovered, so...
Also, Chubby Funster is a terrible name for a porn star who does stuff with dogs. You've got to throw a pun in there somewhere,
Yeah.
surely.
You could, come on, let's move on.
Yeah, pedigree chub, something like that. Just, I literally 10 minutes sat here trying to think of that.
Suzi, I suppose there's another person to go to, but how the fuck are you going to follow that?
Can I follow it with someone who's just written, and this is a real 90s one, he's written, name, Tony, lies that have left you out of your depth, WMDs. Oh, no, sorry, I thought I was playing in
Has he met the Ting Tings, though?
No, he hasn't met the Ting Tings. I think he peaked at WMDs. Well, I say that,
We've got
no one
anything more,
enjoyed it.
Suzi?
Well, yeah, I can carry on. Layla? Thank you. I'm really dyslexic. I was really stressed about this. No one cares.
The bad news is Layla's a dog. The story she's got to tell are absolutely horrific.
No. I was making a video with the Chubby Funster, and
then
I
I met
told
the
him that I was a
Ting-Tings.
dog from EastEnders.
Sorry, but the best line of all time is, he doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, Neenan's got a drawing for you, lot.
Okay, Suzi, one more.
Lally lied about having clarinet lessons. Yeah.
It's not really the same league, is
No,
it?
it's not.
It's nice though. We need it.
It's not, I thought I'd bring it back to PG somehow.
Yeah, to
Just,
cleanse the palate.
Also, unless clarinet lessons is some weird sex act.
What, like tromboning? No one expected me to say that, and I didn't either.
So, sorry, Layla?
No, it's Lally.
Lally,
I'm really sorry.
So
Sure
what's
it's not
the
Lassie.
What's the clarinet lessons? I missed that.
You constantly lie about people being trapped down a well.
Skip
felt really bad about it.
So what's the story with the clarinet?
It's really not that interesting at all. I literally just lied about going to clarinet lessons for about 2 months to my parents before.
What were you,
Yeah, literally.
what were you doing instead of going to clarinet?
Nothing.
It's a
What,
good
just
story.
standing staring?
Nah, she was all over chubbyfunster.com.
Does this end with you on stage at the Royal Albert Hall?
That's what I was hoping for.
Balls deep in a dog.
Is this the clarinet? I don't know.
Let's move on.
Can we do one more from the cards?
Yep.
Do we have a Bernice Scotto di Perta in?
I hope to fuck we do.
I'm so pleased I didn't have that name to read.
Bernice? No. Should we read it out?
What are your unique family traditions? Shaving our hairy knees together on a Sunday night.
I mean, we don't need to go into that. Right. John Robbins, each week on XFM, your show with Ellis James, Saturday at 10 a.m.
Yep.
You have a regular feature, Robbins Amongst the Pigeons.
We certainly do. So, sort of in the way that Matthew was reading out the autobiographies earlier, we used to read out Tony Blackburn's autobiography, and I then, thanks guys. I then was charged with. I need to finish that sentence quicker. Writing my own autobiography, which is called Robbins Amongst the Pigeons. I'm going to read 2 chapters tonight, and these are the final 2 I'll be reading on this show. And it deals with the greatest moment of my life, which was being asked to support the rock band Queen at a New Year's Eve gig that was live on the BBC. Did anyone see it? Yeah, it was a big hit. So this is chapter 27, Brand Robbins. By late 2014, I had almost completed the task of rebuilding Brand Robbins. On the eve of my 10th year as a stand-up, I had transformed myself from a frustrated jobbing comedian plagued by regret to a solvent London-based comedian / DJ plagued by regret. I had made inroads into the competitive London stand-up circuit, managed to attract a girlfriend in the top tax bracket, and transformed Ellis James into a satisfactory assistant on my weekly XFM radio show. One dream, however, still eluded me. I had yet to support the rock band Queen. Since childhood, I'd fantasized about being in Queen, or at least knowing the address of a band member. In November 2014, I received a call I would never forget. One evening, my big city agent's name flashed up on my top-of-the-range iPhone 6. Are you sitting down? He said mysteriously. Yes, I'm in Lewisham Wetherspoons. Is someone with you? He probed. No, I answered. It's a Monday night, he said. I know. Bliss. Anyway, how do you fancy supporting Queen for a live gig they're performing on New Year's Eve? What's the money? I replied. Last year I did New Year's Eve and it was a fucking piss take. The money was shit and the fucking barman refused to serve me after I came off. Honestly, is a bottle of Captain fucking Morgan's too much to ask after I ripped the fucking arse out of the gig? I ain't no cunt. This sounds much funnier when it's bleeped, by the way.
You should have just used the phrase front room, Jonathan.
You tell them John Robbins doesn't get out of bed for... Hang on. What did you say? Queen needs someone to do half an hour before they perform live on BBC One on New Year's Eve. You in? My jaw dropped. I was lost for words. My mind raced. Would I get to meet them? What would I wear? Did I have time to grow a moustache? Panicking, I downed a cold latte that had been on my table when I arrived. So, yes, I'll do it. With all my heart and soul, with the joy of the child within and the man inside. I won't let you down. I won't let Queen down. I was speaking the truth. Though it had been my mantra for 20 years, not letting Queen down now had a genuine real-world application. I hung up the phone, had a panic attack, then a Guinness, then another panic attack. My prep would begin in earnest. Ooh. There we
So
go.
let's hear about the night.
I'll tell you, okay. Here we go. Should these memoirs ever be turned into a critically acclaimed film?
Hang on, that's not the Queen night, John.
Yeah, it is. That's my prep for the Queen night. I'm skipping a page.
Oh, that's my favourite. bit lame, admittedly, saying that, but never mind. I'll just read it to myself.
Should these memoirs ever be turned into a critically acclaimed film, the final scene would be thus. I leave the stage after successfully supporting the rock band Queen. The camera follows me through backstage corridors in one long take, sweat on my brow and concentration in my eyes. Sweeping past well-wishers and execs vying for my attention, I make for my dressing room. Closing the door behind me, I lean against it, and the opening strains of Bohemian Rhapsody can be heard in the distance as a solitary tear falls from my eye.
Sorry, I'm reading it.
You front room.
There you go.
Is this the real life? We've lost momentum now.
Sorry, John.
It's all right, mate.
It's genuinely, I love all of it.
Well, should we have this conversation later?
Yes.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? End credits, applause, brackets in the cinema. I've used a small amount of poetic license here, but such is my trade. Some may and have called me poetic, and my license was granted not by the DVLA, but by the audiences who kept returning to my work, paying with their laughter, dedication, and money. In reality, I had no dressing room, just a gap between a bin and a cabinet. And my moving solitary tear was delayed whilst I sought the necessary authorization to get a pass for the green room. It took almost 20 minutes. All the while, Anita Dobson lounged with access to bottles of Becks and canapes that I was being denied by petty bureaucracy. Finally, I entered and watched the gig on the big screen. The audience were perfect. I had not let Queen down. They're certainly well warmed, I suggested to Dobson. Mistaking my comment for a judgment on the canapes, an awkward few minutes ensued. During which my backstage pass and wristband were examined by a further 2 members of staff. Honestly, this country. When Queen finished on stage, Brian May and Roger Taylor descended on the green room. I knew Brian would want an in-depth post-gig debrief before swapping mobile numbers and becoming best friends. May approached, his trademark hair billowing like a cloud. Hello, he said, with quiet dignity. Hello, I replied. These canapes are nice, I said. What are they? He asked. They're like miniature prawn curries, I said. Curry? Oh, I don't like curry. And with that, he was gone.
Racist.
They say you should never meet your heroes. I disagree. From that day onward, every time I've eaten curry, I've thought of Brian May. And if I was already thinking about him, then I'd think about him again. And that's no bad thing.
John Robinson, now, when Ivo Graham came to the show, he played a game called Wiki Races. Ivo, would you like to take us through it?
Yes, the aim of the game is to get to from one Wikipedia page to another, pre-selected by the host, brackets Josh Widdicombe, in as few Wikipedia-based hyperlinks as possible.
you move from one Wikipedia page to another in as fewer links as possible.
Exactly what
It was
I said.
suggested by a listener, but I was saying it in clearer language so that they understood. And so today you're taking on Ed Gamble. You've taken each other on twice this week already.
Yes.
2-0 Gamble.
2-0 to Gamble.
But
The
can
first
I
one.
can I win the series? Brackets. This is the last one. Brackets. I obviously
36
can't.
versus 37.
John Robbins is
Absolute.
not a fan of this game. He has immediately left.
So I selected the following route. Ivo, would you like to take us through the route?
You set us the challenge of getting from Cabbage to
Nish Kumar.
And then on to the Ting Tings.
Cabbage to Nish Kumar onto the Ting Tings.
All XFM themed. James Acaster's Cabbagings. The Ting Tings frequently featured on the show. Nish Kumar.
Ivo,
over
would
there.
you like to
Right
lead?
here, great guy.
Ivo, would you like to lead or play second?
I don't know. I think it's very likely that I've lost. So
You'll play second. Ed Gamble, would you like to lead?
Just to explain what's going to happen, you have to get from one area of rugby. So, I
Tom
don't
Neenan,
feel
are you
like
tallying?
I don't feel
Okay.
like I've nailed it today, but it was fun all the same.
Can someone just explain the rules to me?
Just so you know, you can't go back, you can't research.
Well, you can,
have
but
to
that
just follow
counts,
your
as,
route.
that counts as a step.
And then the youngest member comes on wearing some pants.
I can't wait.
You can't research, but I felt fairly sure that I knew what Cabbage, Nish Kumar, and the Ting Tings were. So I feel like
All right, big shot.
Yes, unlike yesterday when I had to find Carlos the Jackal, who I'd never heard of, to find Jackal Disambiguation, which is an absolute belter of a page. There are so many jackals in popular culture. I read about all of them
Would you like
afterwards.
to introduce the concept of disambiguations? Because I'm about to lay a thick disambiguation on people here.
Let's begin.
All right. So from Cabbage, I went to Cabbage Disambiguation. So the way I thought I tried to get to Nish Kumar, who I had to get to first, Nish is the host of a topical sketch show on a digital radio station called Newsjack.
And also a great guy.
There's not
No,
a
but that is
Wikipedia
not
page
on your
for great
Wikipedia
guys.
So
The Wikipedia page for great guys, disambiguation.
Yeah. Cabbage to Cabbage Disambiguation. So I thought I'd get into music to try and get to radio through there. So I went straight for the album Cabbage by the band Gaelic Storm. If you're not familiar with the work of Gaelic Storm, this is Cabbage was the album before 2012's Chicken Boxer. But it was 2 years after the album, and I'm looking forward to checking this out. The album What's the Rumpus?
That's what they're saying just outside this venue right now.
So from Cabbage by Gaelic Storm, I went to the Billboard 200 chart. They did very well that year. Through to radio in general. So I'm on radio to BBC Radio 4 Extra, to Newsjack, to Nish Kumar.
Excellent work. What are we on, Tom Neenan?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Oh dear.
10 steps to
Shall
Kumar.
we get Ivo to the halfway
Oh,
stage?
that's
Shall we
good.
got
I'd just like to say I paused for a while on Nish Kumar's Wikipedia page to laugh hilariously at the fact he's called an actor.
I don't know why you think that is funny, Edward.
You were in EastEnders for a bit, weren't you?
Ivo, would you like to take us to the halfway stage?
Listen, Gamble's playing it straight down the line, but who's enjoying that? We can all go through Newsjack. I thought I've got a different plan in mind. And
What was your plan?
Well, I think I'll be interested to see when it becomes clear to you what my plan is, because it sounds by about link 3 or 4 like it's going quite bleak. Cabbage. Agriculture. Agriculture in the United States of America.
What
Oh, no, sorry.
doing?
No, I've got... No, sorry.
Ivo, you've known me for 7 years.
Including your farming years.
yeah, but Ivo, I don't do that stuff anymore.
I'm sorry, Tom, I've got it wrong. If you can just start again, it's cabbage, and then it goes to agriculture in the US, and then the third one is the United States of America.
Oh, okay.
The fourth one's the big one. Incarceration in the United States of America. Followed by number 5, list of detention sites in the United States of America. There are so many.
What are you doing? Why have you got a plan at this
I thought we were trying to curb the racism in this section.
What do you know about Nish?
Number 6, Guantanamo Bay detention camp.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I'm so worried.
Number 7.
Nish shared a flat with me
Number
in
7.
Parsons Green for 2 years. He didn't.
Number 7, the 2008 film Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
Just to be clear,
Oh, it's so brilliantly racist, isn't it?
Just to be clear, Ivo, you don't think that was me in that film, do you? It's not a biopic of my night out with Harold from EastEnders.
Kumar disambiguation.
Josh told me Harold was going to be on the show tonight. No, so I was just looking for Kumar and a list of Kumars.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
of course.
I mean, I can't.
It's a very odd way of attacking. I'll be honest.
Yeah, well,
you know actual facts about Nish Kumar. Why go for just all Kumars?
Well, listen. If we're following the lazy Ivo's a racist joke, then things are going to get a bit worse, yes. but luckily, I think Suzi and the rest of the panel have taken the edge off, so that should be fine. Kumar from Harold and Kumar Get the Munch doesn't have... You can't get to just...
Of course, because Kumar's disambiguation doesn't exist.
Well, I very much hoped it would. But it doesn't. So Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, Kumar Patel, but no links to just Kumar. So then we've gone to... the Indian diaspora. I'm going for another Kumar.
In fairness, the Indian diaspora was my wrestling name.
It's still not mentioned on the page. Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan national cricket team.
Sorry, if Ramesh was on, yeah.
No, the Sri Lankan national cricket team, and their captain is Kumar Sangakkara. Again, no link to Kumars. By this point, our hero
You found everyone else in the world called Kumar except me.
And that sitcom.
Yeah,
here they come.
Yeah, amazing. I thought that going for them would be a little off colour, so didn't do that.
I mean, pick your phrases better,
Ivo, one of my jobs was as a writer for the Kumars at number 42.
I also went for that job, and we went there on the same day and had an interview, and it became very clear within a minute of them speaking to me that I'd never seen it or didn't know what it was.
So I'm reading about the Sri Lankan cricketer Kumar Sangakkara.
Legend.
He's a great cricketer. But I've decided that this by the way is about 10:20 p.m. and I'm in the Pie Maker on Nicholson Street. If anyone's interested by context, it's quite grim. I've given up on Kumars as a route. So I've gone back to UK BBC Radio. BBC Radio 1, Nick Grimshaw, Sweat the Small Stuff, his BBC 3 panel show featuring Nish Kumar.
Yeah, there we go.
But you know what? I'm
at the
still
halfway
glad.
stage, Tom Neenan?
Oh, it's tense, isn't it? Who's in the lead?
All right, cocky.
It's 18 plays 10.
Yeah. But who knows more about detention centres in the United States of America?
So, Ivo, you should play first because to set a target for Ed to try and get under.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to get to the ting-tings from Nish Kumar. Nish Kumar, Edinburgh Fringe Festival, Perrier Award.
Nothing there, mate.
Perrier, no, that's not the route I'm going down. Perrier the drink. Carbonated drinks.
What?
Soft drinks. List of soft drinks by country. Ting!
Superb work.
You'd be amazed to know the page of the Jamaican soft drink Ting does not link to UK brands.
When they clearly came up with their name when they ordered 2 tings, surely.
So then it's the more predictable. I'm sure Ed's done a similar thing. Back to UK, music of the UK, British pop, list of #1 singles. It's now 5 minutes before showtime. I'm still in Pie Maker. I'm getting some looks from the staff. And I'm really hoping that the Ting Tings had a #1 single. They did. The next page is the Ting Tings.
Congratulations, Ivo. How many did you score, Tom?
31.
Ed, you've got 20 links to get this in.
Yeah, I don't know, because we did end up going in a similar route, but there was a lot of faffing.
Did you go for Ting?
No, I did not. No, I didn't go Ting. I'll stress that. I'm not an absolute idiot, but I went from Nish Kumar to Virtually Famous, the E4 panel show, which Nish Kumar featured on, and then I got confident. I went for Kevin McHale, who presented Virtually Famous. He was also in the show Glee. And I started to get cocky and thought maybe Glee covered That's Not My Name.
Ooh.
And then panicked and lost confidence and went from Kevin McHale to Pop.
The perfect thing for Ting.
Yeah. Pop to singles charts to top 40. Turns out a lot of countries have a top 40. So I had to go from top 40 to the official chart, hoping that was the UK chart. Turns out it's just a Radio 1 show about the chart. Had to go to the UK singles chart. List of UK single number ones.
Close.
It's getting tense.
From the UK singles charts number ones, then, I mean, does 2000s count as a link? I think it was all on the...
Even if it's within the page, it's
already
still
on the
linked.
page, fine.
If you've clicked it, it counts.
Ting Tings.
Ting Tings.
What was the score?
21.
A win for a gamble!
But who
learned
learned exciting or funny, but a solid victory for me and a third victory.
3-0, it really was.
I think the real take-home from that is I need to do some better telly.
Or go to Guantanamo
Virtually
Bay.
famous and sweat the small stuff. I mean, come on, Kumar, pull your finger out.
I've got a brief, if moving, anecdote about the Indian diaspora.
Is there any
James Acaster to finish the show. We genuinely haven't got time, but I'm looking forward to it afterwards.
John, can you please tell me immediately as we leave?
No, I'm going to say it now. When the Parsis asked, this is 1,000 years ago, when the Parsi people from
When
the
this
Middle
podcast
East,
started.
they asked for sanctuary in India. The Indian top dog said, there's no room. And the Parsi chief said, bring me a goblet of warm milk.
Did he say goblet, John? Let's be honest.
No, I'm riffing.
Yeah.
Are you sure these are session ales, John?
And the chief of the Parsis took a spoonful of sugar and stirred it into the milk and said, we will sweeten your land. And they let them in. Thanks, mate. Actually,
To finish the show, James Acaster each week has a classic scrape.
To think that 20 minutes
to
ago.
enter India.
20 minutes.
I nearly fell off my chair a bit.
Jesus.
It's fine now.
That was the ghost of Gandhi knocking you on the chair.
Not a pacifist anymore.
Yeah.
James, you are a man who's got into a lot of scrapes in your life. Would you like to finish the show forever with a classic scrape?
Yeah. This has kind of already been mentioned today.
You fucked a dog.
I am the chubby funster.
Well, mate, you've lost weight.
Thanks, mate. Just a lot of videos of me doing the gammon dance. I heart bones. Yep. I did a gig in Cambridge once. That's cool. And it ended really late. It's like 2 a.m. And my friend David Trent lives in Cambridge with his family, and said that I could stay over. So I let myself in with a key. Gave me a key to let myself into the house. And on the front door was a post-it note where someone had written "Cabbage Moment," but cabbage was spelled C-A-B-E-D-G-E. With a little green squiggle under it with a little arrow pointing towards it.
That's actually Parsi, mate, and I find that a bit offensive that you didn't realise that.
Didn't understand. But yeah, I walked in, got into bed, had a lovely sleep. And as soon as I got into bed, I felt on my back. I sleep topless, if you're wondering. And as soon as I got into bed, I felt a very cold thing on my back. And turned the light on. And
it was a Jack Russell.
Turned to
the chubby funster strikes
little
again.
cold nose of a family of Jack Russells. I looked under the duvet, and there was a load of cabbage leaves. The bed was just filled with cabbage leaves, and a note written on a piece of paper saying, "You've been cabbaged. Ha 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 ha. Lol lol lol. From Mick." And Mick is David Trent's 9-year-old son.
He called his 9-year-old son Mick.
Yeah, and that's not short for anything. His full name is Mick.
He didn't call him at 9 Mick. He called his 0-year-old son Mick. Then he became 9 with the same name.
mean, that would be truly cruel, wouldn't it? No name until you're 9 and then Mick.
And then as the final indignity, you're Mick.
Learn how
Here's
to
some
move an
cabbage, do your
amplifier.
best.
I got all the cabbage leaves out of my bed, went to sleep. In the morning, I had to get a train, and I got up like half an hour before my train, rushed out the door, got the train, went home. Later on, David Trent rang me in the evening and said, as soon as I answered, he went, "What's your problem?" I was like, "I don't know. What do you mean?" He went, "What's your problem this morning?" I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, "Mick cabbaged you last night. And you got up and you didn't cabbage him back." And I said, "Look, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person ever to be cabbaged. I don't know the etiquette." This kind of thing. And he went, "You're supposed to cabbage back." He's really disappointed. He's really upset. He thought you'd do something. You haven't even left a note for a laugh. You need to do something. You need to make this right. Polly thinks you're really weird. That's David's wife. Everyone in the family thinks you're really weird that you didn't cabbage him back. You need to sort this out. You need to sort this out quickly. So I went on Josh's radio show and I spoke about this and asked for listeners to suggest what I should do back to him. One listener suggested I should get a box that was used to contain an Xbox, send it to the family home, addressed to Mick, and he would open it, see it was an Xbox, get excited, and then it's full of cabbages, for example. I didn't know that listening to the show that day was Mick Trent. So that week, I'd ordered myself a CD and a book from Amazon, and I was really excited about getting them. And I got home, and there had been we tried to deliver your parcel, but you were out message, go to the post office and get it. I queued up in the post office for about half an hour to collect a box of cabbages. Really excited about it as well. Really excited. I say a box. It wasn't a box of cabbage. It was half a cabbage that he had cut. So he cut a cabbage in half and cling filmed it, put it in a box, and then with a note that said "cabbaged again, ha 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 ha," and then a picture in the corner of a bike with an arrow pointing to it saying "random bike."
Can I also say, what I really like about you, you're the only 30-year-old I know who would be excited about getting a CD in the post.
I was really excited. So I made cabbage again, spoke about it on Josh's show again. Later that month, I was going to see Monty Python at the O2 with David Trent and his father, who is, I don't know, in his 60s probably. And I met up with David's dad first, who went, "I've got you a present." And handed me a wrapped cabbage with a note that he had written himself saying, "You got cabbaged from Monty, ha 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 ha." So I've now been cabbaged by 2 generations.
Also, just to be clear, David Trent's dad's name is Monty. He wasn't inferring that Monty Python had cabbaged James Acaster.
Sorry, that is confusing.
What was the point at which you talked to Mick on the radio show?
Oh yeah, we talked about. Well, at one point, I was getting wound up. It was getting too much for me. So we phoned Mick so that I could trash talk about how I was going to get him back one day. And I said to him, "Look, you're going to get cabbaged."
Shall we play out the phone call? I'll be me. You
Yeah.
Mick.
Listen, Mick.
This is exactly how the phone call went. I said,
"You are getting cabbaged, whether you like it or not. Your day will come. It's going to happen. How's that make you feel?"
"I feel nothing."
It then really got out of hand when I was doing a tour at the time around the UK and audience members started cabbaging me. I was walking on stage, there'd be cabbages on stage with notes stapled to them saying "cabbage, ha ha ha." I had to explain to the audience what that was. Someone left a packet of cabbage seeds in my dressing room. As a whole branch of Brussels sprouts were delivered to me saying "mini cabbaged." Everyone's spelling... Also, everybody's spelling cabbage wrong deliberately, just like Mick spells it. And he was delighted that everyone was doing this.
And also, for the cabbage industry, this was a real golden era. It really bumped up interest in their Wikipedia page.
2 separate Twitter accounts were started up saying cabbage that just sent me photos of cabbages every day.
So how did it end, James?
Also, the Ting Tings sold a lot more singles.
Yeah, they did really well. I decided I had to cabbage him back. It's the only way that it was going to end. It's made very clear to me. I had a tour show in Cambridge, so I decided to go there really early on the train. So I got there. So I got there probably about 10 in the morning in Cambridge.
What time did your show start?
The show starts at about 8. So, I I've given myself a day to do this. Went there. I knew that it was. I couldn't trust David. I couldn't trust my friend because he would try and sabotage me. So I had to contact David's wife, Polly, and say, "You've got to help me cabbage Mick today. I need this." And she was like, "I'll be in. Everyone else is out. I'll sort you out with a key." So she was in. I got to Cambridge. I went straight to the first supermarket I could find. Walked to the fruit and veg. No cabbages. Second one, no cabbages. There was just no cabbages in all of Cambridge, it
Had
seemed.
Mick been buying all of them?
Yeah. Eventually, I hailed a cab, and I was like, I really need... just take me to somewhere
I
that sells...
need cabbages.
Yeah.
Take me to cabbages.
I said that, mate, all these supermarkets that have cabbages, and please take me to somewhere that definitely have cabbages. Is like, absolutely.
Yeah, don't worry, a 9-year-old boy was in here last week, asked me the same thing.
My favourite thing about this is how much this day cost you in total?
I will tell you that at the end. But yeah, it cost me a bit. Got a cab, went to Budgeons. If you want to get cabbages in Cambridge, I recommend Budgeons.
Not anymore.
You trying to get some of the money back?
Huh? But I bought them out of cabbages. I bought about, I think, maybe 20 cabbages from there. Went to Mick's house. Oh, and I bought 2 packets of Brussels sprouts. Went to Mick's bedroom, and what I did was I replaced all the items in his bedroom with cabbages. So I took everything out of his room, hid it in a different room in the house, replaced them with cabbages. It still didn't look enough, so I did another run. I got another taxi. It took me to Tesco. Bought another, 30 cabbages from there. went to Mick's room again, filled it with even more cabbages. Brussels sprouts, I recommend just scatter them quite liberally between the middle. That's quite nice. And then I hid and I set my camera phone up on the corner of his bed to film it, film his reaction.
Bit weird.
Yeah. I mean...
And now you're not legally allowed to be within 200 metres of Mick.
Well, he wasn't
Boy or a
allowed...
cabbage.
He wasn't allowed previously due to his past as the chubby funster.
And James sleeps topless, so he was just in the bed, topless, covered in cabbages.
And obviously a note saying... Oh, I did leave a note on the door saying cabbage moment, like he did to me. And I hid, and then he came in, and the video's quite good. It's him kind of coming in, looking around, and I think it's safe to say he could not believe his eyes. And then I come in and taunt a 9-year-old boy. Proper, both hands pointing at him, going, "You got cabbage, mate!" And I really... But then he instantly... He doesn't get defeated for a second, this child. It's amazing. He just picked up a tennis racket and started hitting Brussels sprouts at me.
Because a lot of the fact he'd maintained a lot of dignity by sending you cabbages and leaving notes, and you were just there rubbing it in his face. Like Jack the Ripper would have been a lot more mysterious. Now he wouldn't just run in and go, "I did it! I killed everyone!" It's just pathetic, mate. You've really spoilt the whole thing.
So, how much money did you spend in the end?
I spent £130.
James Acaster, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to bring us to the end, we have the drawings of the show. Tom Neenan has drawn the show, and so we'd like to, if we all get in position, Tom will bring out his drawings of the show, and the best audience member will win these drawings. We all know the best audience member already.
There's no fucking doubt about it tonight.
Whitelaw's getting a fucking pad of paper.
Tom, what do you have for us?
300 cabbages.
Hello. Can everyone see?
Ivo can't. I mean, yeah.
And I've gone blind again.
Let's have a look. Let's start. Okay. Let's start. Josh Widdicombe's XFM podcast live, and just like all the work I do, I've tried to draw Fido, Dido, and Sonic on the front. Keeping it old. You can't see? That puts me in an awkward position. That's what move it further back.
How far back can it go?
Thanks, man.
Okay, so what have we got, Tom?
That's
What
great.
is Yeah. Thanks, man. Okay. I'll be up first. So this starts with Nish's anecdote. So we've got Leslie Grantham here. This is the moment he's realised he's been had by Kumar. As you can see, he's got his hook hand, if you don't remember that scandal from a few years ago when he was playing Captain Hook. That's Nathaniel Metcalfe winning a first in art school for an installation of his own unconscious body. Moving on. Oh, yeah. Somebody said that dance looked like two giants being wanked off. So two giants there, one saying, gammon night again, and the other one saying, man, I love gammon night.
Oh, that is so good.
Wait, let me just take a photo of that, because that's the best thing that's ever happened.
Tom, you have assumed giants work out a lot.
Oh, yeah. This one's...
How tall is the person?
Could be in the upstairs bedroom.
Moving on.
Oh, how long are the cocks?
I love
So that book that was made out to Steve and said, be happy, Steve. Now, that could be a jovial thing, or maybe Sid Little just met the saddest man in the world called Steve at a signing, and it was an instruction. People don't really remember that. Moving on.
He looks like Sue Pollard.
This is after the success of the pun that they did with Little Chief. This is Little and Large chuckling to each other in the car, imagining visiting a welcome break, which they've hilariously retitled A Welcome Cake. What's next? Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Nish, we all make mistakes. So if we can just move on.
Happy to be on there with Blackwood and Mandela. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, this is famous last episodes. You didn't mention the most famous last episode of all time, which is the last episode of Rainbow, where Jeffrey wakes up from his living nightmare in an asylum where he's just been plagued by a zip, which he thinks is talking to him. Too dark in a way, that one. Oh, yeah. Ah, sorry. Surprise. We should have kept this quiet. But, Joe, congratulations.
Yes.
Today, we're going to hand you over this. It's the Dave joke of the Fringe for your MFI joke.
Well done, Joe.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, God.
I would like to thank everyone for this great moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen these videos, the Chubby Funster.
Oh, God.
Two DVDs spring to mind. Chubby Funster in Labra Backdoor Action. My particular favourite, the Chubby Funster in not K9, K14 and a half.
What are they both rated, Tom?
18. Okay. Adults only. Because it's pornography. Wiki Races. The rules of Wiki Races are you have to jump from one So I've just dotted a few things there. For instance, that's where I found out that we were going for Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay, and I thought that was the best idea I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that's the little thing there. And those are all the times that you mentioned you're in Pie Maker. Moving on. John. Notice are all the legs of the chair on the floor?
Yeah.
One question, what's not in this image? An injured person. I think we can all learn a lesson here.
Fair, Tom. It's also not got a fourth leg.
Yeah. That's a very unsafe chair, Tom. That's more unsafe than I made my four-legged chair.
I think you'll find, Ivo, if you have the three legs on the floor, the fourth one sort of takes care of itself.
Leave him alone, he's blind.
Yeah, so you didn't understand cabbaging, so I've done the cabbaging equation, which is you receive a cabbage, you give a cabbage back. And in the corner, picture of a bike, random bike.
Hey!
And finally, I'm very excited about this one. It's someone's birthday today.
It is.
So I just wanted to show where he sits now. He's turned 30 years old while we've all been sitting here. It's Mr. Nish Kumar.
No.
So here's where he sits on the list of ages of famous people in comedy. So right at the top, Nicholas Parsons. Then slightly under him, Barry Cryer.
Jesus, I thought that was Colonel Sanders.
Also, Tom, all of these people are white. Where is Nish?
Yeah. Mate, I mean...
There's Stephen Fry, Chris Barry.
Huge fan.
Jimmy Carr. Under him, Nish Kumar. And all the way down at the bottom is Russell. No, I'm not going to do that joke. So, Bill Russell Kane. And that is the end of the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John Neenan. Nish Kumar has turned 30. Can we have a round of applause for Nish Kumar turning 30? The winner of the drawings is... What was that?
White Law!
White Law!
White Law! White Law!
Gammon done. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a genuine honour to do the XFM show for the last 2.5 years, but mainly thank you to everyone who's done it, because I've got away with murder. I haven't to do anything myself. Thank you very much. Cheers. See you again. Cheers. Good night!